Hey, this is Josh with the Athlete Center. So today we're going over an activation sequence that you can use before you go for a bike ride. So the purpose of an activation sequence is to warm up some stabilizing muscles, and then as well as to kickstart the neuromuscular connection between our central nervous system and that muscle itself. So these are all aimed at increasing your stability during a bike ride. So we can use these before a ride to hopefully maintain some of that stability throughout the entire duration of that bike ride. So we're going to break it up into 3 parts. So we're going to do a lower body, upper body, and then a core area. And you probably want to aim to go through each exercise around 4 to 6 times. So enough to fire the muscle, but you don't want to tire it out, and you don't really want to be spending all your time in an activation sequence. Okay, so first up we're going to be doing our lower body activations. So we're going to start off with a little bit of mobility here. So we're going to just take a seat. You want to feel both sit bones engaged into the ground. You're going to have a fairly wide foot placement here, and then we're going to sit up nice and tall, and we're just going to drop our hips down to one side. So this is called the 90-90 sit. So you want to imagine 90 degrees at your hip and at the knee, and we're just going to go back and forth here. Again, sitting tall and then dropping down and through. Really trying to engage through those sit bones as you go. Let's do one more here. So this is working on our rotations through our hips, both internal and external. All right. So then now we're going to go onto all fours. We're going to be doing something called the fire hydrant. So this is again one of those hip mobilization movements. So we're going into our all fours here. And we're going to engage our core nice and strong. We don't want any arching in the back there. And we're just going to extend one leg out behind us and then bring it up. And then back in. And then we can reverse that. So up and out, down and back and in. Same thing on the other side. Out and back, and then bring it around and back in there. And then you don't want to see too much swaying through that lower back. And then up to the side. Perfect. So now we're going to start. So now that's a bit more of our mobility dealt with. Now we're going to go on to firing some specific muscles, mostly our glutes. So next up we're going to do a single leg glute bridge. So we're going to lie down. And so again, it's all about core. So we're going to maintain a nice strong core. But we're going to do one leg at a time here. So feet nice and close to your bum. This is going to activate your glutes more. And what we're going to do is we're going to bring one leg up and then push through the other leg. And then back down. And then we can switch. Push through the other leg. So keeping your core tight here is going to stop you from twisting. And we're really firing that glute max to bring us up. And then back down. Engage. Make sure you should feel it all through here. Okay, finally, we're going to take a looped band. place it just above our knees. And we're going to do the monster walk here. So slight knee bend, looking forward, and we're just sidestepping. So this is again engaging those glutes, getting them ready to work. All right. So that concludes our lower body activations. Okay, so next up is our set of core activations. So first up, we're going to start on a bit of mobility. So I'm going to take an object, could be a couch, or if you're at the parking lot, maybe the trunk of your car. And we're going to kneel in front of it. Again, strong through the core, no, not too much bending of that lower back. So we're going to come onto our elbows, step back so you're nice and comfortable and extended, and then as one solid line, so you should imagine a straight line from your pelvis to the top of your head, we're going to sink through our arms and then come up and sink back down and come up. So you should feel a nice stretch through your shoulder here, and we're getting that nice thoracic extension through there. Next up, we're going to do a quadruped open book. So again, another mobility exercise, but more for rotation. So again, onto that all fours position. Shoulders over hands, hips over knees. And so one at a time, we're going to take one arm off. This one is going to remain stable, so strong through the shoulder, slight bend in the elbow. And we're going to reach underneath, sliding this hand along the floor until we can't go any further. And then we're going to come back and up and as high as we can. And then switch. So again, strong through the shoulder, slight bend, reaching through, along the floor. Bring it back and up as high as you can. Open through the chest and back down. And again, strong through the shoulder, reach, 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 reach. Bring it back. Follow your hand, look up as high as you can go. Plant the shoulder, reach along, and as high as we can go. Excellent. That really helps build that rotation, opens up through the chest. Now we're going to do some muscle activation. So the first up is called the bird dog. So we're going to stay in this all fours position. And from here, we're going to engage through that entire core. So focus on your breathing. Imagine a full cylinder all the way around. And so what's going to happen is we're going to load through opposite hand and knee while our other two limbs lift. If you feel unstable or have any issues with this movement, we can do one limb at a time. So this is the regression, and you can work your way kind of around the world, if you will. But for this purpose, we're going to be doing the bird dog. So, again, nice strong load. You're going to take the weight and extend both and back down. We don't want to see any arching through the lower back. So nice and strong through the core as we engage this is priming both our leg and arm as well as our core to maintain that stability through a diagonal load. Okay. And so finally, we're going to move to something called a bear crawl. So again, we're going to start in this all fours position. You're going to pick up your toes so your toes are connected to the ground. Engage through that core nice and strong. And from here, we're going to do a slight lift of our knees, and then we can step, 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 and go again. You want to remain as low as you can with your knees here. Alright, so that concludes our core activation sequences. So next, we're going to be doing our upper body activation sequence. Okay, so first up, we're going to work on our mobility. So we're just going to lie down on our back here. Legs nice and relaxed. Just drop our arms out to our sides. Imagine opening through the chest. Now we're going to just slide our arms all the way up and bring them back down. So it's called a floor angel. Just starting to get those shoulders moving as well as opening up through our chest area. Make sure you're not splaying your ribs too much like I am right now. And perfect. So now we're opened up nicely. We're going to turn over onto our stomach here. So we're going into something called a 3-month prone position. I'm actually going to move this mat just a little bit. So you want your elbows approximately at the height of your ears. And you can imagine making a triangle out in front of you. So the big one here is to remain relaxed through your legs and lower back. So we don't want to use any of those muscles to lift us up. The movement is all going to come from the elbows pushing into the ground. So you really want to imagine your elbows planting into the ground. Not so much your hands, but the elbows themselves. So from here, we're going to into neck flexion. So we're going to tuck our chin. And then we're just going to lift our head up. Again, using just our shoulders. And back down. Push through the elbows, lifting. Keep that chin tucked. So this is going to work on all those muscles of our shoulder blades. And push up. And this is really creating good joint centration through our shoulder and firing everything through this whole scapular and humeral complex. Okay. Now the progression from there is into a plank position. And take my hands off the mat. So again, into this plank position. And instead of doing a full push-up, we're just going to focus on a scapular push-up. So again, we're priming that shoulder and scapula to be stable and move. So we're just going to drop ourselves through, no bend at the elbows, and then push our body up with just our scapulas. And then drop through, push up, drop through, push up. A nice core activation there, and all the movement is just those shoulder blades coming forward and retracting backward. And finally, I'm going to incorporate a bit more movement here. So we're going to use just a light band, and then you can wrap it around whatever you need, so be it a car door at your house. And you want to get a little bit of tension. We're going to stand with our feet around shoulder width apart, toes slightly out, or whatever's comfortable. I need a bit more tension here. We're just going to come down into a squat and then row. I need a little bit more here. So slight squat, row. Squat, row. Squat, row. Alright. So that you'll feel between your shoulder blades, really getting that back nice and strong and ready for our ride. So that concludes our upper body activation sequences.